Fellow Nigerians, I am aware of the complaints and challenges that we all face as a nation. And I feel it is important, rather than criticizing the government, to suggest ways in which this country can develop. And I want to appeal to you to please take some few minutes and listen to what I want to say to you. The Bible says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." Yes, indeed. The problems that is confronting us as a nation today is simply because we had leaders and followership who lacks knowledge. The leadership lacks knowledge, the followership lacks knowledge. And I want to use this opportunity in all sincerity to express my gratitude to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for taking the bold steps. The few policies that he has taken, that he has made now, could be seen as, a kind of harsh decisions. But quite honestly, fellow Nigerians, we are going to get out of this and Nigeria is going to be a better place. I have no doubt in my mind about that. But while we are doing that, it is important for us to have a knowledge of what we expect of Mr. President. And so this is not about criticisms. This is about suggesting to Mr. President and for Nigerians to understand what is necessary to be done for this nation to develop. And what I want to share with you today is 20 years of deep thinking. And if you find it useful and key to our development as a nation, please share this. Now, the first thing that will move any country forward is for the country to build strong institutions. I have been an advocate of stronger institutions in Nigeria for the last 20 years, but probably because I don't have money and I don't have positions of authority that people can hear what we're saying, nobody seems to want to echo it. But I appreciate one thing. Recently, Aliko Dangote made mention of the same issue. You need stronger institutions to move any country forward. If we must move Nigeria forward, the first thing that any government who is sincere must do is to reform certain institutions. And I'm very happy that the president has made a statement recently that they will be reforming the civil service. Fellow Nigerians, the first thing we need to do as a nation is to reform our institutions. The judiciary, the civil service, the Nigerian police, the law enforcement agencies, the National Assembly, they are institutions that must be reformed. Except those institutions are reformed, we are not moving anywhere as a nation. Now, the importance of reforming institutions is that it makes them incorruptible and independent. With such strong institutions in place, everybody, Mr. President to the cleaner in this nation, would sit up and discharge their duties knowing fully well that there is a watchdog behind them. And except you have a government that sincerely wants to move this country forward, we'll look into that area. It is not that they don't know, but if Mr. President has started now with the reformation of the civil service, let all Nigerians understand this and ask and expect that Mr. President is going to reform other institutions as well. But of all of them, the most important one is the Nigerian police and the law enforcement agencies, followed by the judiciary. If Mr. President can reform the Nigerian police and the judiciary, I know there are problems in other sectors. The National Assembly is a problem, the civil service is a problem, the private sector, but reform the Nigerian police and the judiciary. You will find out that every other sectors will fall in line because those two institutions would, enforce the law without compromise. And if that is put in place, the executive will be put in place, the National Assembly will be put in place, the civil servants will be put in place. So that is the first thing that must be done for any nation to move forward. I hope Nigerians will understand this. That's one. The second thing that must be done is to look into the steel industry. We need to open up our steel industry, see what we can do in that sector, and ensure that we are able to produce small implements that can be used by small factories, by small farmers, and what have you, so that the development will start up by that kind of, development of our own. It will amaze you to know that in the late 50s, they were only using shovel, in the UK. There was nothing like all these tractors in the late 50s. But they started reforming, their steel industry. And that was able to produce for them some implements that they could use to produce another better implement. That is it. You need to look into your steel industry. That's second. The third thing that we need to look into is our health sector. You cannot govern over people who are sick, who are not going to contribute to the economy. You cannot govern over them. They cannot contribute to the development. So Nigerians need to be in good health to be able to contribute economically. Agree that our educational system is falling down at the moment, but whatever is existing today, let us be able to put them into place and see that those individuals that are still living today and are still breathing, you understand, can contribute meaningfully to our development. There must be good health. Fourthly, there must be good education to continue to build this nation. If the president and commander-in-chief can please concentrate in those areas, and particularly the reformation of, the law enforcement agencies and, of course, the judiciary, there will be evidence of the budgets on the ground, the budgets that are being expended. We will all see the effects on ground. The policies that are coming up will be implemented. And so, fellow Nigerians, to bring everything to a close and not to take, much of your time, what do we need to develop a nation? We need to reform our institutions, make them independent and incorruptible. That is, the law enforcement and judiciary. That's one. Secondly, we need to look into the steel industry so that our steel industries can produce small implements that can be used in the farm and develop our industries. That's what. Two. Three, we must be able to develop our hospitals so that people will have, good health and they will be able to contribute to the economy. Yes, agree that people have traveled, people are leaving this country. All that will be taken over when the system is allowed to work. We still have a couple of doctors who come all the way from UK, from America, to attend to people in this country. There are Nigerians who do that as I speak to you. I was one of those who took advantage of them recently. So if we have good hospitals in place, I'm sure Nigerians will want to come home and sacrifice and help in that sector. The last but not the least is education. The government must look into our educational system and see that we concentrate on them and develop them better. With this, our country will be on the right path. I want to thank you all, and I pray that this message, if you find it useful and it has exposed your mind or your thought, please share it so that other Nigerians would benefit from it, and we can all have a vision to say, Mr. President, this is what we expect of you. And may God bless you as we do that. Thank you, and God bless. I remain Honorable Onomusi Onodeko.